You guys are just gonna hate this one.
Hello.
Through my many criticisms on the turbulent, the brilliant, and the inspiring topic of Doctor Who, one question comes up. Well, if you don't like it, could you do any better? And the honest answer is no. I doubt many among us here could. In recent years, we truly have been gifted with some of the greatest hands and showrunners the Doctor Who has or will ever be in. I have Rusty Davies to thank for saving the greatest show on television and creating a childhood hero. I have Stephen Moffat to thank for inspiring me to become a writer myself, as well as a few of my favourite stories of all time. And even Chibnall is one of the most prolific and respectable figures in British TV. Few among us could hope to contribute something as popular as Broadchurch or save a show like Torchwood. No, I couldn't run Doctor Who. What a mammoth task with industry responsibilities we could not even dream of. But that doesn't mean I haven't thought about it. Let's get hypothetical. You think Series 11 was different? Oh god. Doctor Who in my hands
Would change the format so much, I would get death threats. I hope the Doctor Who fandom likes change and experimentation. Oh, because we're going to be doing so much more than a surface level gender swap.
After 50 years, any ongoing series, to be fair, will eventually and inevitably reinvent itself in every conceivable way.
Marvel's Thor, for instance, has been a human, a woman, an old man, a frog. The same applies here, and here. Have you seen Scooby-Doo lately? A female Doctor was just goddamn inevitable, and so is, I argue, every change I'm gonna make. No, the TARDIS window doors are sacred. Nope, everything and anything can and will change.
There's no getting past that, so you may as well incorporate that into the identity of the show.
So if the show mysteriously and conveniently fell into my lap tomorrow, number one, please go check on Mr. Chibnall, number two, wasn't me. What could I do with the show? What could I bring to it? This is a fun thought exercise. I wouldn't necessarily want these changes to be implemented into the show, nor am I going to act as some kind of armchair critic, pretending I can fix the show from the comfort of my keyboard. That ain't me.
These ideas are objectively weird and not suitable for any respectable network.
So please indulge me as I try and take the show into some scary new hypothetical territory. Here's what I would do with Who.
Tone. In my own writing, my work has been described as abstract and bombastic, which I take entirely as compliments. This show would be bigger in scale and grander in concept. But the budget wouldn't have to reflect this. In fact, I'd happily take a downgrade back to the era of Stephen Moffat 2017. These stories look gorgeous. And as we've learned in the last year, that budget is better spent elsewhere. I'm not sure I like Doctor Who with a blockbuster production budget. It just doesn't fit. For reference, my favourite showrunner is Stephen Moffat, and my favourite creative involved in Doctor Who period is Douglas Adams. His one series as script editor is the pedestal of Doctor Who for me. Tongue-in-cheek, erratic, energetic, and often openly ridiculous. That's what Doctor Who is for me.
My writing is equally strange. I write about bitchy, bored gods to lonely, abandoned space dogs, war-torn theme parks, and robot Karl Marx.
I think I just want Doctor Who to embrace the weird. This is a show where truly anything can happen from one week to the next. The 60s understood that.
One week we're in the future, the next week it could be anything from a land of giants to a land of fiction.
Doctor Who should always balance ridiculous with the scary, and that part I would like to return to, with some out there and radical sci-fi. If Russell T Davies made the series an action blockbuster, and Moffat made it a dark fairy tale, and Chibnall made it a Broadchurch, then I'm gonna make the show psychedelic. That's my motif, that's my aesthetic. Embrace the weird. Relish the unpredictability. Oh, you think you know the format? Maybe there'll be a Base Under Siege story, or a meeting a famous author episode.
Nope, don't even take the monster of the week for granted.
I think some people really underestimate the fact that silly does not have to equal childish or light-hearted. No, there can be some very dark, silly stories, as the comics, Big Finish, and Douglas Adams have proven. One of the greatest stories of all time involves an alien from the dawn of Earth using an evil plan that relies on Mona Lisas. Doctor Who, at its core, is silly, and dark and brilliant.
Okay, let's just get the weirdest idea out there first. So who's playing our Doctor, anyway? I've effectively been asking myself this since I was 11 years old.
I was never designing monsters, I was designing doctors.
So for the first role, I give this to a man, an actor who should have been Doctor Who since day one. Adrian Lester.
Name an actor better for the role than Adrian goddamn Lester. In fact, don't, that was rhetorical.
Adrian Lester is the Doctor, and my Doctor is unstable.
This incarnation is fidgety, erratic, and a little bit dangerous. There's few archetypes that the series hasn't touched yet, but twitchy is one of them. This truly would be an incarnation who never sleeps, and you can see that worn on his face. Kind, but uptight. Strong moral sense of justice, but also incredibly cowardly. We haven't had a timid Doctor since arguably Troughton.
He's definitely fun to travel with, but he genuinely teeters between a nervous disposition and manic fits of pyromania.
Also, if you think Shakespearean stage actor leading man Adrian Lester can't do Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi style monologues, you're mistaken. So that's Doctor A. Oh yeah, sorry, did I mention? There's two Doctors. Two very different Doctors coexisting in the same series. Go with me here.
It's the kind of parallel universe event that Marvel do all the time. But then I realised it's not even that out of place in Doctor Who. Weird new elements come into regeneration every time.
Let's assume that the finale before this ended in a big timey-wimey, multiversal paradoxical event, and the Doctor regenerated right in the heart of it. And out of the fog step two silhouetted figures. Two different versions of the Doctor. Maybe he's meant to be a parallel version. Maybe one of them isn't the real deal. I love the vagueness, and one of them is not to be trusted, but the audience are genuinely kept in the dark throughout the entire series as to which one that is. Meet Dr. B. This is Guy Henry. Oh, Guy Henry is the Doctor. Guy Henry is no stranger to sci-fi properties. Why didn't they let him play Grand Moff Tarkin is my question. Unrelated, sorry. This incarnation is every bit the Doctor. In fact, in some ways, even more so. This tall, tired, meek-looking man
is tired of the cycle of suffering, tired of constant injustice.
This Doctor is the polar opposite. Quiet, analytical, composed. If I had to compare him to an existing incarnation, I'd say McCoy. And this even extends to the way he treats his villains. He has a very morally flexible approach when it comes to bad guys. He'll hear them out. He'll attempt to understand them in the hope he can make the usual cycle end and gain some more allies.
The Daleks and Cybermen aside, this Doctor's goal is to not defeat villains, but repurpose them.
So Sam, there's only one TARDIS to go around. How are you going to make both these Doctors seem just as Doctor-like as one another? Well, to keep the Mystery Series arc compelling, they both have to share equal screen time. They are going to star in separate stories on different travels, only meeting up for maybe the series midpoint or crossing over at the series finale. It's Dr. A who has the first episode, but it's Dr. B who gets the first Dalek episode. It's Dr. A who seems to be more moral good and mean well, but it's Dr. B who dresses and acts like an old school doctor. Doctor Number A gets the fan favourite villains, but Doctor Number B gets the fan favourite companion. Yeah, more on that later.
To cut a long story short, one of these will spiral into a series regular villain. Big enough to rival the big three.
And I'm not giving any spoilers away, but if you wanted Guy Henry to eventually build up to be the Valiard, that'd be an apt excuse for some fan wank. Be my guest. But it's not essential. But now we've got that out of the way, episodes. I'm actually going to stick with the 50-minute runtime, but instead those new minutes are allocated to the climax of the story rather than padding out the first act, like Chibnall did quite a lot last year. There's only going to be a two-parter for the first two episodes of the series and the finale, but every episode has some form of cliffhanger, no matter how subliminal. I have lots of ideas for Doctor Who stories, some of them genuinely good as an adult, so I'm not going to spill all of my secrets here. I'd love a historical with the animals of the Soviet Russia space program. A hypothetical what-if episode where the Doctor is exiled from Earth. An early-era Sontaran story about capital punishment. Or a wholesale adaptation of The Flood. I just had an idea that the Doctor sees a missing poster for a lost cat, and that's the main plot of the episode. There's an alien threat, but the gimmick is that that's the B-plot. Monster redesigns are a mixed bag. The Daleks haven't officially changed since 2005. Their design is perfect, and I think I would be upset to lose it. That said, that doesn't mean they did not try. Oh, they tried. But with the objectively offensive colour scheme out of my burning eyes, a lot of these redesigns are done with good reason and good intent. I think from a script point of view, the Dalek paradigm could have worked. Yeah, stick with me. There is something interesting to the idea of only 5 Daleks exist in all of time and space. 5 different, unique individuals who all have different abilities, personalities, and even names. In this series, the Dalek Empire has gone through a reform. A new level of purity has been engineered on Skaro, meaning that the entire army has just been decommissioned out of shame. But that's fine, because these 5 Daleks wield more power than the Dalek Empire ever had. This is as fanfic as it gets. But the Dalek Syndicate is composed of 5. The Dalek of Time, a chief strategist, a medic. The Dalek Time Controller, if you will. The Dalek of War. Imagine a special weapons Dalek, but on a cosmic scale. The Dalek of Arts. A mad thinker, a tinkerer, an inventor of new crazed forms. The Dalek of Space. This is just a giant space warship with a Dalek installed that goes through the cosmos, mowing down planets and gathering spaceships to its armada. And the Dalek of Pain. His job is to bring out the utmost torture, suffering, and hate in the world. He's responsible for pig slaves, or robo-men, or labour camps. He can reduce a planet's government to chaos with just a few words. And this is the current state of the Daleks. I think a perk of having a family hub of Daleks is that when one is defeated, that's a huge victory. Now there's only 2 Daleks left in the world. And because of all their memorable and unique characteristics, these Daleks don't have to appear together, only uniting in very rare instances. I love them unconditionally, but the Daleks truly are missing something. Hopefully this can restore some of their former glory. But with the Cybermen, either go the Flood or go home. Master/Missy? Nah. This character is more than retired. Let them rest. The first series' main villain, of course, the big bad, has to be Omega. This Gallifreyan god is Gallifrey's saviour. Gallifrey is somewhat back, and they are not happy. It'd be very easy just to wash past the events of Hellbent. God knows sometimes I'd like to, but I think the ramifications for that story are very, very usable. The Doctor left the planet for dust. This is a planet of villains with a villainous government that was crumbled. At first I was considering a Gallifrey series, a whole series run of Time Lord villains, but then I realised, no, a lot of the good ones are audio exclusive. Is anybody demanding the Rani? Why? I was considering Rathalon again, but his eventual defeat in Hellbent as a tired, pitiful old man is actually a better send-off than I could even come up with. That's perfect. Rathalon is long gone. And that just leaves every other fan favourite the fans have been demanding since 2005. So few of them work. Do we really want to see a modern day Nyman? Or what Crotons look like in the 2010s? The only 2 I'm allowing are the Axons, because they have a timeless, cool design, and the Krillitanes, because, hey, that's just a cool concept we've never elaborated on. I also like the Boneless, so I'm nicking them too. And last of all, companions. I'm not going to get too descriptive here with the companion lineup, because otherwise I am writing blatant fanfic. Here's my self-insert companion. His name is, Daniel Savis. No, we're going to have a TARDIS team of 3. And if you're thinking, Sam, don't we dislike that these days? You're Chibnall 2.0. No, it can be done well. Remember there are 2 different TARDIS teams at play here.
I like the idea of companions being made to choose, because they don't know who the real deal is any more than we do.
I'd quite like an alien or a person from a different time, as long as we can escape the witty, charming, funny, sexy 20-something girl from London. I think we're pretty good. We've had quite a few of those.
I'm not even opposed to travelling with a historical figure. It worked for Mary Shelley and David Bowie. Also, and here's my last contentious point, past companions are not ruled out. Although you'd think a character, a companion from the 60s or the 70s could prove to be distracting for new viewers, a suitable supporting character could always potentially return. You just have to pick the right one. You need a character who is self-explanatory and ever relevant. So, why not Susan?
I can hear the comments already.
Ever since she left in 1964, this character has been a glaring omission from the Doctor Who world. She's very heavily expanded upon in spin-off media, but that is only out of necessity. Because the series that Doctor Who grew into, it's genuinely strange that we've never returned to Susan. The person the Doctor started his journey with, his only remaining family. Maybe we don't even know that. The fact that we have so little closure on such a crucial companion, more foundational than the Brigadier, has always been boggling to me. The first Doctor kind of booted her out into a post-apocalyptic landscape. But jokes aside, this was done for her own good, leaving her to her own happiness. But then zoom round to the 8th Doctor's era, and that logic gets a bit more shaky. Where you been, Grandad? She is a character who was left behind by the show's own rapid development. What started as a 60s kooky sci-fi serial with Grandfather eventually turned into a continuing sci-fi epic where the focus is on the Doctor, his presence, his identity, and his motivation. We know that Susan is in his motivation, but where is she? What's more is that Caroline Ford is quite vocal about wanting to reprise her role. It may not seem like a pressing story to tell, but these actors are not around forever. And if this is a story we don't close off now before it's too late, I think we will regret it in the years ahead. One of the most iconic moments in the show, period, is the Doctor directly saying he will come back for her. He never did. And that's why it's so bad at goodbyes, and an episode, an arc, just exploring that idea would be so interesting. Perhaps her son has got married, or moved away, or even passed away, and she's on the TARDIS counselling her grief. For this reason, I'd have her travelling with Guy Henry. He's more reminiscent of the classic series values. And that crucial character closure would also make us trust Guy Henry's Doctor more. Oh god, and imagine if Susan left the TARDIS, said her final goodbye to her grandfather, and the real Doctor doesn't even know it happened. And that's me done. God, this went on for way too long. There are some bizarro ideas in here, I know that. But I take comfort in the fact that it's Doctor Who. Weirder things have happened. I really put myself out on the line on this one, so go easy, but let me know what you thought. Let me know what you would do with a franchise like Doctor Who.